My 27M girlfriend, 25F, said my cousin, 22M, was more handsome than me. We've been dating for 10 months. I was asking if she had met my cousin, and her response was, oh, of course. He's handsome, even more than you. Not sure what the thought process was, but she immediately panicked and tried to contextualize, saying that doesn't mean I want to sleep with him or be with him instead, and it's the same way you would find a celebrity attractive. She then tried to say she didn't mean it that way, just that he was handsome in a different way than me. She feels terrible and knows it was a fucked up thing to say. I already struggle with insecurities, so this is a real nightmare for me. How am I at all supposed to move forward? She said a stupid thing and she knows it. He's obviously sorry and she should be, saying stuff like this is throwing landmines for your partner's feelings. But it sounds like this was a one-off stupid mistake and a gone wrong compliment. I think she might have been trying to say it like it's surprising anyone can even look better than you. You're her gold standard. So, too long didn't read. It doesn't seem like a deal breaker to me. If she's usually supportive concerning your insecurities, chalk it up as a shit day and let it go. You can be sure she'll be on her toe tips for a while. And in the end, your personal insecurities are your own responsibility, always. It's also on you to work on them. You are supposed to move forward in the same way that you would try and deal with other things that make you feel insecure. Inspect your feelings, accept how they are, differentiate between objectively bad events and just bad reactions to them, learn to see good in yourself in specific ways. Wish you two luck and a better day tomorrow. Too long didn't read, is longer than the explanation lamau. She's way out of pocket on that shit. If my so said that to me, I'd be pretty upset. My advice assumes you want to move forward with her. You're not obligated to, and if you're not interested or able to follow the advice below, ending things is fine. You are not obligated to do anything, including continue this relationship, that you don't want to do. It happens. She misspoke. The step after that is for her to recognize her mistake, how stupid it was, and to apologize. She did that. Raking her over the coals will do nothing. You probably are stuck here emotionally, but I'm telling you, she already did what she needs to in a situation like this. Don't think you need to explain. Comparisons are hurtful. Now comes the hard part. Swallow your pride and move on. You've faced the truth a bit more starkly than many people do. Your partner is still a human who is able to recognize beauty in humans. Also, I think it's fair to guess she was speaking casually and in an unspoken context. This didn't sound like desire. If you can't face these things and move forward together, what will happen if somebody does something actually hurtful someday? Most relationships have ugly moments and people need to move forward and love one another afterwards for things to work. This, in the grand scheme of things, considering her response to the situation, is tame compared to many issues a lot of loving, successful relationships have faced. Please refer back to my first paragraph. Only do what you are capable of and are interested in doing. My advice is intended to give my perspective and context, not to assign obligation. Christ, what a stupid thing to say. Oh, of course. He's handsome, even more than you. That doesn't mean I want to sleep with him or be with him instead. I think stupid is an understatement. This is like dating 101, never ever compare your partner with other people, in front of them. I don't blame Op for being concerned after that. Unsaying something like that is almost impossible, in my opinion. He has celebrity level attractiveness. She just kept digging that hole even deeper. I thought so too, but she clarified that's not what she meant. Terrible response, I agree. I, 25M, cut off my parents and brother, 61M58F, more than 6 years ago, and now that my brother is going to jail they're trying to come back into my life and I'm not sure how to get them to stop harassing me. Edit, thank you all so much for the advice, and I'm definitely going to look into a restraining order and deleting all of my social media, then recreating it under different aliases and getting a new number only those I trust know about. I wish I had the time to respond to you all, but thank you so much nonetheless. Posted on a myth arsehole, but they removed it and said it was better posted here. I know this sounds like the one story where a daughter tells their parents they only have one child and she's 6 feet in the ground, but please hear me out. I am 25M and my brother is 19. He's always been a pathological liar and a narcissistic person, and that is in no small part due to my parents. When I was growing up, my brother was the golden child and I was the scapegoat for everything he did. My parents refused to take my diagnosed autism into account for anything, and as such a lot of the help and guidance that I needed growing up I didn't get until I was older. My brother was allowed to annoy and piss me off as much as he wanted by calling me names, messing with my stuff, or otherwise inconvenience me. And if I gave a reaction or tried to prevent it, then I was the one punished for being immature and giving him a reaction, and said, when will you ever learn to just ignore him, then he'll stop? Yeah, I tried that, but he never let up. My parents and brother were emotionally abusive in a number of other ways, and I likely will be in therapy for the rest of my life due to having such a shitty childhood. I got a job at 16 and saved up enough money at 19 to where I could room with 3 other people as I was in college, and left on my brother's 13th birthday, ignoring multiple phone calls and texts, at first begging me to come back but then telling me I'm a terrible son. I haven't spoken to them in 6 years. That is until I got a phone call today from my mom. I picked up thinking she wanted reconciliation, but then learned that my brother got arrested, and if convicted, he could face some serious jail time. I can't go into specifics, but I definitely know it's a result of the shitty behavior my parents cultivated in him. And then my mom asked me if I could meet up with them somewhere soon and reconcile and be a family again. I tell her no. That she's the reason why my brother did what he did and got arrested and is now looking at the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. That I do not want a relationship with them ever again, and that they now only have one son and he is behind bars never to come out. I hung up once she started whining. I got spammed with multiple voice and text messages of her screaming and whining at me, to where I had to block her number. I then got calls and texts from other family members saying I am in the wrong and that family is family no matter what and I need to suck it up. One of them even suggested I show up to the court date. I ended up having to block more family members than just my mom because I'm flustered right now. Since the last time I've posted this, they've found other ways to get into contacting me, including messaging me via my social media accounts, LinkedIn, old email address I use for archival purposes, etc. Messages will not stop coming and I am almost at a fucking breaking point now. I'm not sure what I can do to tell these people to fuck off and die in a hole. I'm going to make this as short as possible. This is a trap. The only way they know how to act with you is negatively. This is made evident by the harassment. They haven't respected boundaries in the past and they refuse to respect boundaries now. They are still the same shitty people they've always been. That's never going to change. Call the police and report. You owe them nothing. Get security cameras. I would contact the police and let them know that abusive people are harassing you, and or get a lawyer, and or start getting official looking cease and desist letters to send back to these people threatening legal action. Continue not knowing these people, as they're obviously not good for you, your health, or your future success, and you owe them nothing. Good luck. ETA, block them everywhere. Agreed. Be patient and keep hitting block. Put down your phone for a few days if you need to. Tell friends you are not answering calls for a few days. They probably want money or a character witness to help his case. One idea is to tell them that if they keep contacting you, then you will seek out the prosecution and tell them what a bully and narcissist your brother really is. They will run out of energy after a while. Even family will get tired of her whining after a while and get bored with no response. One of them even suggested I show up to the court date. Yeah, you could do that. As a character witness for the prosecution. That would be a strong and clear message to everyone, I bet. Yes, Your Honor, he's been a piece of trash his whole life, so doing this is honestly not surprising. Get a lawyer and think about drawing up a cease and desist on the harassment and send it over to every single person. Keep the messages as proof. That way if you need to take this further you can. Amazing how you're suddenly family again after 6 years no contact. My F19 boyfriend, M20, left abruptly mid-conversation as I was sharing my trauma with him. I was raped by my brother when I was young/elementary school aged. I never told anyone, and due to issues with him and my mom, he was kicked out for other reasons not long after. I have been no contact with him for more than a decade/ever since. He recently sent me a random Facebook message, pretty much attempting to have a conversation, sent me his number and asked to reconnect. I don't even know if he knows I remember it happened. Seeing the message just made me go back and I broke down. As we were in bed, I was crying and explaining to my boyfriend about the message. He was holding my hands, looking me in the eyes while I cried and explained why I was upset and the trauma from it. As I'm clearly fucked up about this, his phone rings. He immediately jumps away from me, sees it's his friend calling and answers the phone. No problem, not even a glance at me. I guess his friend asked what he was doing because I hear him say not shit, just here at Ashanti ZX's house chillin'. I was left sitting there staring at him in disbelief as he proceeds to have a full conversation with his friend. And they're just shooting the shit. I turn away from him, on the bed, and I'm just sitting there thinking, did he really just do that to me? I'm sitting here crying about a real fucked up situation. We're in the middle of talking about it and he ditches me ASAP to answer a phone call. He then ends the call W/O, well I have to get back to Ashanti ZX, we're talking about something serious. Then he turns to me and tries to hug me. As if he didn't just ditch me to answer a call for causal conversation with his friend as I was spilling my fucking heart out. Y'all, he's the only one I've ever told about this. So it hurt even more that he just blew it off for a phone call. Especially for someone he could have just called back a bit later. I feel as though it was really fucked up of him and I'm looking at him funny now. I just wanted others' thoughts on the situation. Update, I wrote this in response to a commenter, Fred Weasley Freak. His explanation of what could have happened was exactly my boyfriend's thought process, but I thought I should also place it here for if anyone else reads this. I've really appreciated all of the commenters and their perspectives. My boyfriend and I had a long in-depth conversation about it today. He ended up seeing this post on my phone as I was reading the comments and he asked to fully read it. He went through all the comments, took a minute and then he genuinely apologized and took everything into account that was said. He acknowledged how insensitive, immature and inappropriate it was, his words, to answer the call and that he really could have waited. He pointed out many comments and said that they were right and he explained his way of thinking in that moment. We explained our feelings and then he insisted he wouldn't make the same mistake twice and that we continue the conversation. He was very attentive and treated me the way I thought he would during. I feel that it was just a fuck up. His words of apology seemed genuine. I'm not going to hold anything against him. That's extremely insensitive. Suggest confronting him about it. Ask him why he did that and make sure you're clear and he understands he hurt you. Does he act insensitive often? Does he listen when you speak and really take in what you're saying? I explained how I felt about his actions and what I felt like he could have done and he apologized, but I still feel off about it. He said sorry and his excuse was that he just wanted to tell him that he couldn't talk at the moment. Why answer the call? Stay on the call for conversation. Tell the person you can't talk. And you just did. We have had other issues with him doing things then expecting me to accept it. Then when I get upset, share how I feel then distance myself. He comes to his senses, puts himself in my place then gives a real apology. It feels genuine. This is why I was so shocked when he just answered the phone. It's wild to me that someone could be the insensitive,